Two, one, go. There we are. Good morning. It is 10 o'clock, Friday, November 22nd, 2024. Red Friday Morning Caffeine. Bill Muckler and I are with you this morning. You all know Bill. He is a brilliant man, a uh, entrepreneur of several talents, including a well known writer. He wrote the 2020 books, 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future, 2020 A Clear Vision for America. I probably said them backward. And most of all, he wrote the book, Six Soft Targets. And if you have not bought the book, Six Soft Targets, when this broadcast is done, you go to the Bill Muckler Facebook profile and you message Bill. You get the information from Bill on what the books will cost you. Make sure he has your address. Make sure he knows your name, a little bit about you, because he's going to sign those books pre New York Times bestseller list number one. I can see Six Soft Targets actually going high up on the New York Times bestseller list, and I could also see maybe one day down the road Bill is the executive producer of a documentary or a movie based on the book. So, like I said, you go to the Bill Muckler profile here on Facebook and you get the three of Bill's books. Today, I kind of will get to Bill. We'll let Bill do the Red Friday salute, and then we'll dive right into Bill's commentary.
Okay. Yeah, it's Friday, and we remember everyone deployed every Friday. That's one of our purposes that we think about and remember and pray for, keeping our thoughts and prayers, all of our young men and women who have courageously and bravely agreed to serve our country and defend our Constitution. And they're deployed. And I got to tell you, I expanded my thinking on this because anybody that's on active duty, in a sense, is deployed, because we have no idea what's going to happen in this chaotic world we live in. When I was on active duty, if we went someplace, we had to load up and put all of our equipment and get everything aboard a ship, and we sailed someplace like Vietnam. I went to Vietnam in '61. Now, yeah, they can say, "Hey, get your pack and get on this airplane. You're leaving in an hour, and you're going to be someplace in a combat situation." So everybody's deployed. Now let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the Ukraine. Biden, and this, I got to preface this a little bit by saying most of the people here didn't really live through or understand what happened from 1976 to 1980. That was the Carter administration. That was the most bumbling, incompetent, and corrupt in capital letters, administration that is ever known to mankind. But this kindly old looking Habitat for Hospitality, Jimmy Carter, was like wearing his sweater because he shut down the power in America and said, "That's okay, wear a sweater. If you're freezing to death, wear a sweater. We ain't going to turn the power on because it costs too much money." Unbelievable. What a doofus he was. Now we got doofus squared, Biden. And what Biden's doing is he's playing the same role as Jimmy Carter. Oh, I'm just an old guy and I'm going to have this peaceful transfer of power. Turn it over to Mr. Trump, and I'm going to do everything I can to help him. In the meantime, what they're doing is they're doing everything they can do to sabotage the transition of the Trump elect transition team, which will become the Trump administration, into the White House and into the U.S. government. So now we have the most bumbling and incompetent administration that I could ever imagine. And I think back and compare them to Jimmy Carter's, and it's like, man, they're almost like, it's almost like they're identical, except that they, well, I guess Carter, he lost us Iran and our embassy in Iran, and had 56, I think it was 56 of our people who were stationed at the embassy in Iran held hostage for 444 days until Reagan came in. The day Reagan came in, they released the hostages.
Yep.
Well, imagine that. And guess what's going to happen when Trump comes in? The day Trump comes in, things are going to change too. So let's talk about the Ukraine, because
Yep.
Dave and I talked about this in the green room. And Dave, I think you wanted to ask me a question about
Should we just, I mean, basically, should we just pull out? Should we stop sending money? Should we stop sending military? Because my fear is that it's our military on the ground in Ukraine really fighting the war for Ukraine. Ukraine would probably lose that war, because I still believe that if Putin wanted that war to end, it would have ended long before it started. He would have just gone in with enough military to take over Ukraine. Whether or not that would have launched a third world war, I don't know. You're the military guy. You'd have to answer that for me.
okay, key word you just mentioned, and Dave, wow, World War III, because World War III was actually mentioned in the news today by one of the Ukrainian defense ministers. I'm not sure just exactly what his title was, but here this gets back to Biden sabotaging Trump's transition. So we sent some long range missiles. I won't get into the technology of it because nobody will remember it anyway. Long range missiles into Iran. But what we're doing is we send them these things on conditions, and so we're, in a sense, we've got this bumbling Tony Blinken and Lloyd Austin and Jake Sullivan are telling the Ukrainians how to fight their war against Russia.
Yep.
And I don't know if we've got troops on the ground in Ukraine. I have a pretty good feeling we do. Now, they may not be part of structured, organized military units, like maybe the 4th Marines or the 82nd Airborne or something like that. They might be some Navy SEALs, or they may be some contractors, special operators who are working as contractors in there. But anyway, what we're doing is we're shooting these long-range missiles into Russia now, which is escalating the war. And Russia just sent an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile from Russia into the Ukraine today. That's when the Ukrainian guy says start of World War III. What in the hell are we doing in the Ukraine? And why isn't Europe, if it's so important to Europe and they're so afraid of Russia, why aren't they amassing their troops and their money to take care of the Ukraine? Why is it the United States doing it? Well, maybe it's because of the military-industrial complex needs a lot of new contracts, and the banking industrial complex wants to lend them a lot of money because they make money on all the way around on this. When Trump gets in, I'm sure it's going to be over. I hope I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But, if I'm still around in January, we can revisit this. But I don't think we should be involved in other people's wars. This war has nothing to do with the United States.
Mhm.
The United States isn't threatened. It's not affecting our economy. They keep telling us the Putin's war has caused inflation. Bullshit. That's the craziest thing I ever heard of. The American the Inflation Act from Biden that increased escalated inflation. You
Yeah.
know, don't tell us all this stuff, Biden, because some of us we just ain't believing it because we know a little bit better. But anyway, Dave, I I don't think we should have anybody in Ukraine. I don't think we should be giving them money. What we're doing is we're actually borrowing money from the banking industrial complex, billions of dollars that we're borrowing to give to them because we haven't balanced our budget. So this is not even taxpayer money. This is money that they're borrowing against the taxpayer. So Dave, you and I now our national debt and our debt has increased, and we say, well, we'll never have to pay it. Well, somebody's going to have to pay it, and the way it may end up getting paid is we may end up going bankrupt, which is going to cost us our livelihoods, our standard of living in our country. That may not be, along with your bank accounts and everything else. So your house, your cars, everything. So I'm not too crazy about this whole thing about what we're doing in the Ukraine, and I think Trump is going to get us out of it, and I think we can get us out of it real quick. All he has to do is say, "Look, Putin, knock it off. Zelensky, knock it off. We're not gonna shoot at each other anymore. Russia, get the hell out of the Ukraine, and you guys figure out where your borders are supposed to be." And in the meantime, if you don't do it, I'm going to cut off all of your credit and all your banking and everything. I'm going to bust you. And we can do that. We can do it because so far we still control the monetary system of the world. Now the Bidens are trying to turn that over to the Chinese, so G can have that. But right now we still have control of the money, so we can handle that. World War III. I hope we're not stepping into World War III. I hope we don't have any more wars. I don't want any of our deployed young men and women in combat. I was willing to go into combat, but our thoughts always is in the Marine Corps was we wanted to be so strong and so well prepared and so well trained and so ready to go any place that nobody would dare take us on. That's the way it needs to be. And that's where diplomacy starts. That starts by having some pretty tough, well-trained military units that are well-equipped, ready to go. Okay, let's talk about a Marine, Daniel Penny. He's in his 15th or 19th day, I can't even remember which now, of this phony trial. He's on this manslaughter trial. Now, for those of you who don't know about this, Danny Penny's a Marine who was going to school one morning. He was on the subway in New York, and some guy, I'm not even going to mention his name, doped up, hopped up, crazy ass guy, decided he was going to kill everybody on the train. That's what he said. I'm gonna kill people, and I'm gonna kill myself. I want to die. So Danny Penny got a hold of this guy and subdued him, along with a few other people. It's all on camera because everybody takes videos and photos of everything now. He held this guy and subdued him until the train stopped and the police could come in and get this guy. In the meantime, the guy dies of an overdose. He's got all kinds of medical problems. Danny Penny did not kill this guy. The coroners know that. The police did not arrest Danny Penny. They said they let him go. They said it was a good Samaritan act. But the blacks of the Black Lives Matter and Antifa group of crazies in New York decided that they were going to protest. And so they protested enough that they got Alvin Bragg. Guess who? Alvin Bragg, right? Caved in because he's going to do whatever they tell him to do. So he has his prosecutors arrest Danny Penny and charge him with manslaughter for saving the lives of these people, and they're trapped in this subway car while it's traveling underground. Anyway, if Danny Penny doesn't, if he gets convicted, because in New York they got the juries rigged, the judges are rigged, the prosecutors are all rigged. It's all rigged, and if you're a Marine, or if you're a Republican, or if you're a conservative, or if you're a Trump person or whatever, you can just kiss your liberties and your freedoms goodbye. But anyway, I think Trump will be able to pardon him. Although I don't know, this might be, I think this is a New York trial. So Trump can only pardon federal prisoners. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but hopefully Danny Penny will not have to serve any time in prison. Right. A good Marine, good young man, going to serve his country, was deployed in combat, is back, well trained, going to college, trying to become a good citizen. And this is what the Democrats, the leftist Marxists in New York do to people, to good people.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I covered the ICBMs and Danny Penny and everything.
Yep.
Now, you have a question about
Matt Gaetz
Trump's appointees.
Yeah. Matt Gaetz stepping down and Pamela Bondi taking over. And you said in the green room before we went on, you've known him. So what do you think?
I like Matt Gaetz. And I know some people who really think that he was the guy. I could almost make a case that Pam Bondi should have been the first pick in the first place. And that's not to take anything away from Matt Gaetz. I'm just saying that Matt Gaetz, if he's a 9 out of 10, Pam Bondi's maybe a 10 out of 10. She's a 10. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, I've been in Florida practically all my life, but full-time since 98. I've had property and lived here earlier and served in the military here and so forth. But anyway, I've known Pam Bondi, not personally, but I've followed her career. She was one tough prosecutor in the Tampa area, so she's a Floridian.
Okay.
I believe she's 59 years old. Looks pretty darn good. It looks like she might be 39, but she's 59. She served as a prosecutor in the Tampa area. I mean, she went after the worst of the worst, and she got them. This is the kind of person we need. This is what we want. She is great. So then what happens is she is now elected to be the Attorney General of the state of Florida. And our state of Florida, we know how to do things right. We run things right. We take care of our people. We battle crime. We take care of the budgets. We do the tragedies and like the hurricanes, all these things that happen. Florida knows how to do all this stuff. And we know how to have pick attorney generals. Pam Bondi was an outstanding, awesome attorney general for the state of Florida for 8 full years.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
She knows her stuff. She was good. She prosecuted crimes. She went after them. Why do you think Florida is so good right now? It's because we had people like Rick Scott as governor and Pam Bondi as a attorney general for 8 years. That's why we're so good in the state of Florida, because we had these great leaders, these great people governing our state. So I'm all for this. Now, Pam Bondi was also on the Trump impeachment team, which was, boy, that's almost like going in front of a circular firing squad, isn't it? I mean, with the Democrats, I mean, they don't care about truth or facts. You know, you're guilty, and we're going to get you. We're going to get you, and we're going to tell you you're guilty, whether you're guilty of anything or not. That's the Democrat, the leftist Marxist playbook. Anyway, I'm very happy with Pam Bondi. Now, here's something I wanted to do a lot of research on this, and I haven't been able to this week. I've had a lot of things going on. Dave, if you'll notice, I think.
Ooh. Ouch. Yep.
Well, wait a minute. It's over here.
Yep. I see it.
That and 3 more on my body. The dermatologist yesterday really, really sliced me up.
Yep.
So anyway, I've been kind of nursing my wounds. Yeah. I'll survive. They'll all be healed up in a few weeks. And every time this happens, the dermatologist shows all this concern that cancer, and doesn't wants me to make sure that I'm not cancerous and everything. So anyway, I go along with the program, and I let them cut all this stuff up, and they do all the little lab tests and everything, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, last Friday, I had to leave early because I went over to Cape Canaveral, Brevard County in Florida. That's on the East Coast. Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, Cape Canaveral, Titusville, where our space center is. And we celebrated our Marine Corps 249th Marine Corps birthday at the Space Coast Convention Center. There was about 80 of us there. And while I was there, one of our Marine detachment members, who is the president, a lot of the guys are multitaskers. They're involved in many things. Like me, when I was an officer in the Marine Corps League, I was also an officer, Military Officers Association. I was very heavily involved in working with the American Legion. So a lot of us are involved in all these different organizations. One of the guys, Bob Doyle, has been with the Florida Veterans Association. I think that's what, no, I'm sorry, the Florida Veterans Foundation, a nonprofit organization in the state of Florida, headquartered in Tallahassee. I think they've got an office in Orlando to help veterans. And I know this guy, he's a Marine who's been helping these guys for like 20 years or more. He's now elected the president of the Florida Veterans Foundation, and they have an award, a Distinguished Service Medal Award. And guess what? He comes up and he gives me this award at the Marine Corps birthday ball. And I'm wondering, what in the heck is this all about? I didn't do anything to deserve this.
You do more than you take credit for.
So anyway, just out of nowhere, I have no idea what's going on. They just call me up and say, Bill, and I'm used to, Bill, okay, I get up, wondering what's next. And he comes up and he awards me this medal. So, oh boy, I did get a medal from Rick Scott, Veterans Medal from Rick Scott. I actually have a photo of Rick Scott giving me the medal. So that was a long time ago. That was when he was governor here must have been, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10 years ago or something like that.
Speaking of Rick Scott, do you see him as the Senate Majority Leader when the new Senate under Republican majority convenes?
No, he ran for Senate Majority Leader along with John Cornyn and John Thune. It was a three-way race. John Thune won. So John Thune is now the acting
Okay.
Senate Majority Leader. And on January 3rd,
Yep.
constitutionally, this is the way it works. On January 3rd, the third day of January, right after New Year's Day, right? The third day, the Senate and the House, the new Congress comes in, and the new Congress is then sworn in for 2 years on January 3rd. Has nothing to do with the president. Remember, we got three branches of government, and we all keep thinking that, Trump is, Biden is in charge of everything. Trump's in charge of everything. No, we have three separate branches of government, and the Congress, the House of Representatives, the People's House, and the Senate, which used to be the state's house, they get sworn in as a new Congress to serve for 2 years. And when their 2 years are up, on January 2nd of 2027, they will be dissolved and a new Congress will be sworn in. So the Congress that's in there now, Chuck E. Schumer's Senate, on January 2nd is gone. Schumer is gone. Now, he's still in the Senate because he was elected,
right,
and he served his term, but the Democrats are not in power of the Senate anymore because now the Republicans have more than 50 seats in the Senate. So they hold the majority. So John Thune will be the majority leader, and he will swear in all of the senators. Now, one thing I'm kind of wondering about, I'm pretty sure, and this is what I wanted to do research on, I just didn't get to it, is how does the various states appoint their candidates to fill vacancies? So, for example, in the state of Florida, Marco Rubio has been nominated to be Secretary of State. Great for Marco. Okay. He's a sitting senator, so somebody has to fill his Senate seat. And I believe that Governor DeSantis in the state of Florida is empowered and authorized according to the Constitution of the state of Florida. The state of Florida, like all the 50 states, has a constitution. In Florida, we live by the rule of law of the Florida Constitution.
Yep.
In Pennsylvania, they don't think that's too damn important, right?
Pennsylvania, they're kind of in trouble about what they think about. We could do a whole broadcast on Pennsylvania, I'm sure.
Yeah, we could fill up about 3 or 4 days, right?
I think they. I didn't really look too deep into it, but it seems to me that Kamala Harris was planning, something major with her taking Pennsylvania, and maybe a lot of bad stuff was going to happen through Pennsylvania once she got elected. Maybe our capital was going to move back to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, she's delusional. As it turned out, the Democrats thought that they had no chance to win. Apparently, she thought she had a chance because she's paying millions of dollars to people like Oprah and Beyonce to Willie Nelson to do concerts for her. But anyway, let's get back to okay.
Yep, let's go back.
What do we do with the Senate? Because now we got like Marco Rubio is going to be nominated, and now Marco Rubio, let's get this straight, will be sworn in as as the United States Senator for the new term starting January 3rd.
Okay.
Trump will be inaugurated as president on January 20th. That's a completely different branch of government. That's the executive branch of government. That's under the Constitution. Article 2 of the Constitution
Okay.
governs that. So then what he's going to do is he's going to nominate all the people for his cabinet. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Attorney General, et cetera, the Interior, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what he's done, and this is why I said earlier, this 4-year interim that Trump was not president, Biden was president, may work out to be best for the United States of America, for the citizens, the real citizens like us, the ones who are watching this program, the people who are the patriots, because now we can really get our America back on track again and make America great again. Because Trump now knows where all the potholes are, the trapdoors and everything, and so he's avoiding that. So he's picking his cabinet of the people he knows are going to be loyal to him, not the ones that the rhinos that were in power at the time told him that he needed to, because he didn't know these people, and that's nothing against him. I'm glad he didn't know these damn people. I want them all gone so nobody knows them. Yeah, get rid of them.
Yep.
So anyway, Marco Rubio then will be nominated as place a nomination for Secretary of State. A committee, Senate committee, will interview him. They'll place his nomination onto the floor of the Senate, and he'll be voted on up or down, yea or nay. The problem with Gates was there were 5 senators, Republican senators, who said no. Now, I got a real problem with this. We got 53 seats in the Senate because Dave McCormick is finally, Bob Casey, finally, Pennsylvania, finally last night is conceded after 2.5 weeks. Okay, I lost, I can see. So Dave McCormick is now the new senator from Pennsylvania, serve along with John Fetterman, who's the Democrat senator. So there's 2 senators, right? Okay. So 53 minus 5 is 48. There's 47 Democrats in the Senate. So those 7 plus the 5 they're voting no makes it 52 to 48. Gates doesn't get nominated, doesn't get confirmed. So then Trump's got to start all over again. So Gates decides, he had already resigned from this current session of the House. He'll be back on January 3rd, and because he was reelected, so he'll get sworn back in again. What'll happen then is Pam Bondi will be placed in nomination, and I'm sure she's going to go through. I think all 53 will vote for her. If they don't, that'd be sad and unfortunate. Anyway, I don't see any problem with Rubio and Pam Bondi and some of the rest of them, his appointees going through. Now, the Democrats, of course, are all up in arms because this is what this is what they do. Is they have to say everybody that Trump nominates is bad. They're bad people, and because they want to make them look bad, so they think that makes them look good.
Yeah.
So they gotta make it look like Trump doesn't know what he's doing. So Trump is a failure, instead of saying, okay, let's support Trump and let's see if we can make America a better country again. That's not what the Democrats want. The Democrats are Marxists, and they aren't for making America great. They're not America first people. They're Marxist people. And the sooner the people in America figure this out, maybe the better off we'll be. But there's an awful lot of people who they just hate Trump, and they're in bed with the Marxists, and there's nothing we can do about it. So, in any case, that's pretty much the way it works. So anyway, I don't remember, and I don't have a list in front of me of everybody who's been nominated, but as I followed every one of them that I heard of, I thought, boy, that's a heck of a lot better than the ones we got in there now.
Yep.
Somebody says, well, Marco Rubio isn't qualified, and I'm thinking, he's a heck of a lot more qualified to be Secretary of State than Anthony Blinken was. Anthony Blinken just screwed up America thoroughly. Oh boy, there's something I wanted. I'm trying to decide whether I should talk about this or not.
Talk about it.
Okay, I'm not going to mention any names. I have some very, very close friends that are military officers, retired or former military officers in the Military Officers Association. They're in other organizations I've served in. And this one couple lost their son, Army First Lieutenant. I'm not going to mention any names.
Okay.
In Afghanistan in 2011. And this couple is still, they're the greatest people. They do so much, volunteer so much for everything, for our veterans, our service people, different organizations. I mean, they're the greatest people you'd ever want to meet. They're a Gold Star family. So I made sure that when I went over to the Marine Corps birthday ball, because these two specific couples, one's an Army officer, one's a Navy officer, that and they're such close friends that they sit with us, with me and my cousin's widow, Diane Muckler. So they sit with us. So we've been doing this for like 3 or 4 years. So I get a chance to talk with this couple, and somehow the subject came up about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And this couple, God, it's hard for me to describe this, Dave. This couple is so distraught about this. Their emotions were so raw about this because they saw Biden and Blinken and Austin completely screw up this evacuation from Afghanistan. We saw 13 of our Marines. Actually, I think one was a corpsman and one was a Army enlisted Army. 13 of our Marines were killed, and like 40 to 50 of them very seriously injured. Nobody even talks about them. Oh, screw them. They're just wounded. They'll be without arms and legs for the rest of their life. But don't forget about them. Screw it. Anyway, this couple is so distraught. Their emotions are so raw about this because they gave their son to this damn war in Afghanistan, and then Biden completely screws it up with this phony evacuation he did for political purposes. Can you imagine what this family feels like? Can you imagine what the 5,000 or so Gold Star families feel about this?
They will be happy to see him go.
Listen, I was so upset about this when it happened, when our people got killed in August of 2021. I didn't even think about how it affected the Gold Star families.
Yep.
And I guess I really hadn't thought about it, just like none of us had thought about it until I actually sat next to him at dinner. And before dinner was served, and we're talking and bringing each other up to date and everything, when this came up, and all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. Whoa, they gave their son.
Yep.
And this is what, and people voted for Harris, who's a surrogate of Biden. They voted for the Democrats. They voted for these people. How could they possibly do that? Unbelievable.
It is.
Boy, I know I'm really worked up about this, but
No, it
boy,
is.
when you're talking about our Marines, and then we're talking about Gold Star families, and they lost their sons and daughters, and then the way this has all happened, it's just so sad.
Yep.
And so anyway, when I say that this administration is the most corrupt and most incompetent, bumbling administration, they're actually murderers. As far as I'm concerned, they murdered those people, and they're responsible for the feelings of the Gold Star families who lost their sons and daughters in Afghanistan, and boom, we just gave it all away. We gave away $87 billion worth of equipment. That was our taxpayer money.
Yep.
And everything they did was wrong. And they had the audacity to say, well, Biden's the greatest president we ever had. We got to put him on Mount Rushmore. Remember the Mount Rushmore deal? And then this Corinne Jean-Pierre gets up and says, oh, he's running circles around us. And I watched him on TV this week. The guy wandered off into the rainforest. He doesn't even know where the hell he's at. And where do they put him when they take a picture of the G20? He's in the top row, second from the end on the right.
Yeah, no one wants to be next to him.
He kind of relegated to the status of being in between Nicaragua and Guatemala, or whoever was up there next to him. And Xi Jinping, where's he? Front and center.
Yeah.
Front row.
Yep.
Oh.
Didn't want anything to do with him.
So I lived through all this, Dave, in 77 through 80 with the Carter administration. Now I lived through this 21 to 24 with the Biden administration. And for the life of me, I cannot understand how anybody can vote Democrat. It's beyond my comprehension. And I talk to Democrats, and they are so adamant. We hate Trump. Trump is going to destroy democracy. Biden's the greatest president we ever had. Biden fought inflation. Biden brought inflation down. Biden cured unemployment. Biden did all these things, and I'm thinking, wow, you're so delusional, but you can't even discuss this with people. And there's no way I'm going to argue with him, because there's no way.
Right.
You can't win an argument against somebody that's that delusional and that crazy.
Yep.
How are we doing on time? 45 minutes, and I've been ranting and raving.
That's okay. That's okay. I tell people we're just going to let you speak your commentary, and that's what we that's what we do. I know next Friday you said in the green room you will not be here, so that brings up
I won't be available. Yeah.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm invited to some Thanksgiving dinners, and I'm going to be out traveling a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to try and celebrate the holidays. I'm going to try get some sanity back into my life, and I hope that I make it through next January 20th, and I can turn on the TV at noontime and watch Trump and Melania stand up there with their hands on the Bible and get inaugurated. Hey, we talked about Pennsylvania. How about here's what really frightened me. I was and Dave, you were on top of this. You were the voice of reason, and I had this nailed. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the House majority. You need 218 of the 435 House seats to have the majority, which means then the your party, the Republican Party in this case, if they've got 218 or more, they elect the Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House could be a Democrat, but that never happens. And they appoint the committee chairman, and the committees and all the committees. Like if a committee's got 15 people on, 8 will be Republicans, 7 Democrats. So that the majority of the House also has the majority of the committees, the various committees. So there's a Judicial Committee, an Intelligence Committee, an Oversight Committee, all these different committees, right?
Yep.
So it's extremely important that we hold the majority of the House. And Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. And I know you and I and a lot of people, we've got some questions about Mike Johnson. But overall, I'd say I think he's done as well as he could. And I think he needs our support. So anyway, he will be in charge of swearing in the House on January 3rd.
Yep.
And at that time, I was really scared that the Democrats were going to win the majority of the House. I still don't know what the number is, because I think some of them they're still counting votes, aren't they? Or
In some
have we
places,
got a number yet?
I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
Somebody told me they thought it looked like the Republicans might get 222, which means the Democrats would have 213. Add those two together, you get 435. I was hoping for like 235 to 200. That way, any of these ones that decide they want to go off on their own for some reason of their own that doesn't affect us. But we're down right now in this current Congress to we've only got like a 1 or 2 vote majority, and that's treacherous.
Yeah. What it shows for the House right now is Republicans are 219, Democrats are 213, which means that I hope they're done counting, because my fear is that the Democrats will all of a sudden find 6 votes or something that.
Well, if the Republicans got 219, the most that the Democrats can get is 216.
Okay.
See, because 219 and 216 make 435.
Yep.
There's only 435 seats. So
okay.
As long as you got 218, you've got the majority. If they got 219, that means they got a majority of 2. So if 2 of them are absent or defect, we're screwed.
Yeah.
The votes go in favor of Hakeem Jeffries, who gets 100% of his people to vote all the time. Have you ever seen this Hakeem Jeffries press conferences or whatever?
Only a few times, to be honest.
I've seen this guy more than I need to. This guy, the new term the Democrats came up with this year was weird. This guy is weird. I mean, he is strange. Watch him and listen to him talk. This guy's a scary guy. Boy, we don't want him in the majority anymore. We don't want him to be Speaker of the House because the first thing they'll do is they would impeach Trump, and then the next thing they would do is, who can tell? They're so crazy. They said do such weird things. Anyway, this guy, he reminds me of somebody who's weird, evil, strange. Boy, and that's the guy that they have leading the Democrat Party. Now, there's a lot of talk going on now about the Democrat Party is leaderless, and they don't have anybody, and they don't have anybody to pull them together and everything. So they had some kind of a vote, and Kamala Harris came out like 47% of the votes, and the next one was like 8% or something like that. So they still haven't figured it out. But they don't have to figure it out because they get the votes. And how do they get the votes? They do like they do in Pennsylvania. They cheat. It's just that this year they got caught. That's the only difference is this year they got caught. So the Republicans won. Now, if the Republicans can do it again, then in 2026 when they have the midterms, maybe we can hang on to the House and the Senate again. So Trump has 4 years of support. And I think if Trump has 4 years of support, I think by that time, there will be enough Americans will say, hey, we don't want to lose this. We want to keep this going. But we saw what happened the last time they came up with this phony hoax of COVID-19, and Biden hid in the basement for 8 months, and they cheated and got the votes, and never got elected. But they counted enough votes for him. I'll just leave it at that because I still can't understand how one guy can be out there having rallies with 25 to 30,000, 35,000 people, and another guy's in his basement, and he gets 81 million votes, and nobody's ever gotten anything like that before in the history of mankind. Unbelievable. This time the votes ended up around 76. I'm just giving round numbers, 76 million to 73 million. So you add that up together, that's 149 million. Biden in the COVID years, when they were bundling up the phony votes, got 81 million to Trump's 75 million. That was 156 million. That was 7 million more votes that came out this time. And this time was a greater turnout than before. And somebody says, yeah, you can't be an election denier. I can be an election denier. The numbers don't add up. Oh boy, Dave. Let's talk about. I'm gonna put Dave on the spot now. Dave is supposed to be reading this, and we're supposed to be talking about this, but Dave ain't reading. He's reading other stuff. He ain't reading this. Anyway, I think the last he's told me he's read 5 or 6 chapters, and there's 49 chapters.
Yep.
So anyway, Dave, you got to read another 4 or 5 chapters. So
I will read a lot more.
Got the holidays coming up.
I will have it finished. I will have it finished before you come back. I promise. Before the next time you come back, I will have it finished.
Then we can talk about it because the book is about. This is a big topic in America today.
It
is terrorist and criminal activity coming across our southern border, and this is a novel about how it can happen. So, boy, yeah, somebody just wrote in there, Craig Peterson, I think. Yeah, that's the book, 6 Soft Targets. It's all about it's a book of fiction. It's a novel. I think it's a pretty damn good book, and a lot of people have told me that because I wrote it. I better say it's good.
It is.
Anyway, it's a very enlightening and entertaining read, and it reads well. Um, it's something everybody should read, because if you read it, you not only understand how the terrorists and the illegals are invading our country, but what they can do when they get here, and how it all plays into the overall part of the government of the country, and how we have some vets are trying to stop this. These 9/11 type attacks, future attacks on America, and the government won't listen to them. Typical, right? So anyway, um, I write, and I love writing, and I'm going to try and really, I'm working on a sequel. I really need to get back to that. So maybe I can do a little bit of that over the holidays too. So anyway, Dave, thank you so much for having me on. It's
Always a
really
pleasure.
an honor to be with you, and you're a perfect host,
Thank
because
you.
you sit there and let me ramble and rant and rave. And
I learn a lot. I make a lot of notes.
you're so patient and understanding.
Yep.
Anyway,
All right.
everybody that's watching and listening, and or whatever, all of our viewers and listeners, appreciate you so much. God bless you all. God bless you and your loved ones, and God bless our America. Not those other guys' America that want to ruin our America. God bless our America that we want to save. Okay.
All right, Bill.
See you, Dave.
All
Yeah.
right, Bill. Thank you.
Hopefully in 2 weeks. Next
2 weeks.
next Friday is
Yep.
Black Friday.
Yep.
That has something to do with the book too. There's some bad stuff happens on Black Friday in the book.
All right. Well, I'm
That's
going to
why it's
have
got
to
a
read
black
up and
cover.
find it. I'm going to have to read up and find it. I promise.
There you go.
All right, Bill. Take care. Have a great holiday.
Gotcha.
All right. Bill Muckler, you have seen him on Facebook for a while. He had the Bill Muckler Show, which was 5 days a week at 11 a.m. And we used to have him on Fridays to get his opinion and an idea of what he would be talking about on his Friday show. And then when he ended that, I asked him to come and join us on Fridays to help get some good thoughts into your head. He said this, he wasn't sure how to bring something up that he brought up. There's somebody watching. I want to ask someone to do me a favor, help do something, and they did, and I screwed it up. I lost it. I asked them to again, and they did this morning. And then I asked them to help me do something with it, and they were available to do it. They gave me some instructions. I went and tried to do it, and I screwed it up. And I wanted to be able to use it this morning on today's broadcast, but I screwed it up so bad. Somebody at Restream to help me unscrew it, and I neglected to let that person know that that's what to do. So I apologize. Uh, I apologize. That's all I'm going to say on that. To the people watching today, Dr. Craig David Navarre is watching. Keith Buttrick is watching, and I don't know if he's watched before, but I've seen Keith around Facebook during all the time that I am on. So I'm glad that you are watching. Everybody who watches, please share. My sharing seems to be somehow restricted on Android devices using the Facebook app. So I have to make a change, possibly bring out either a Chromebook and see if that will allow me to share the way I should be able to, or go back to an old Windows 10 and see if I can can do that, or just share the broadcast after it's done as a podcast and get it out everywhere. So if you're watching, please do me a favor, and if you like it, show that you liked it, and then take it and share it everywhere you can on Facebook. That would make me very happy. If you want to share it off of Facebook, go subscribe to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel over on YouTube and take any broadcast from there and share it anywhere on the internet that you want to share it. I would appreciate that as well. Hopefully, when President Trump has been inaugurated and back in, the FCC will do some work on Section 230 and we'll deal with Facebook's censorship and this and that and the other stuff that talking about really doesn't do anything other than get people upset. So you go to Bill Buckler's Facebook profile and you'll see it listed there. Then go to message him from his profile and tell him you're interested in the book. 6 off targets is a $20 donation, which includes you the address to send it to, or he'll send you the book and he'll send you an invoice with it. Make sure you donate the $20 and everybody will be happy. There's also the 2020 books, 2020 A Clear Vision for America, 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future. Patriot Broadcaster's Bible, because the information in them is still as relative as it was when he wrote the books, one in 2015, one in 2018. That said, hardbound books are $25 for the 2 set, and that includes the cost of shipping as well. He self-publishes the books himself. And if you went into a bookstore and you were looking for equivalent to 6 off targets, I don't think you can find it. If you go into a bookstore and you look for the equivalent of the 2020 books, you definitely cannot find it. So go to the Bill Buckler profile on Facebook and you will see ads for the books, or just message Bill through his Facebook profile. You want the Bill Buckler profile that has a picture, an old picture of Bill looking at the camera like he was caught doing something in a white uniform. People are making clones of his page all the time. So sure, you're actually talking so that you're not scammed by someone who will take your $20 or your $25 or $45 for the books and not get you the books. So please make sure that you are talking to the actual Bill. If there's any concern, message me and I will send you the link to Bill Buckler's Facebook profile and you can go talk to Bill there. There is a website. I'm not sure. I think it's just about ready to be turned back on. They did some updating to it. And as soon as that is up and running, you will be able to go to the website and order the books from there as well. So again, thanks to Craig Peterson for watching, David Novar for watching, Keith Buttrick, anyone else who was watching. About not as many shares as I wanted to get banged off, but sometimes it gets a little crazy with me trying to do what I'm trying to do. See, that's where it didn't go where I wanted it to go. No. Go here. Go there. Scroll down here. 43 people watching on 20 shares. So more shares bring in more views, and that makes us happy. Good morning, Robin Brunson. Pleasure to see you here. And Chuck Cook, pleasure to see you here. But we're going to bring this broadcast to an end. Tonight is the American Rebellion downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page, here on Facebook, over on Rumble, and over on X. Make sure you ask Jerry where they are on Rumble and on X. And if you need watch there. I tell people the same thing when it comes to Boogie with the Bull. Watch it on my profile, share it on Facebook. Then, if you want to share it off of Facebook, go over to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and take it and share it from there. And some nights, leave Facebook and go over to the Boogie with the Bull live chat over on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and not worry about Facebook taking any action against you for things that they see because you're over on Rumble. So your live chat won't show up on the Facebook podcast anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It will. It might actually. It might actually show. It does show up. It does show up. But anyway, I'm getting tongue-tied and kind of confused. 11:06. I think we covered just about everything today. Make sure you remember that we will not be on next Thursday because next Thursday, actually, we may be on next Thursday. Has nothing to do with this broadcast. We won't be on next Friday morning, I don't think, because Bill's not available. I'm not sure I can do it next Friday morning anyway because of Black Friday and the Thanksgiving holiday and all that good stuff like you. The website, I don't actually have the name for, Craig. I don't think it's up and running. They took it down to do some work on it, and I don't know if it's back up. But Bill Muckler profile on Facebook. Like I said, it's a white picture of Bill looking kind of startled about something. And that's the profile. That's the Bill Muckler profile that you want. Craig, if you give me a moment, as soon as I end the broadcast, I'll go to it. I'll get the link for it, and I'll send you the link to it on Facebook, and you'll know that it is the right one. I promise to do that. Anyway, it is time to wrap this one up, and hope that people watch it. I'll do some sharing of it throughout the day, getting it up as a podcast more on Facebook, and I appreciate that anybody who watched it does in fact do the same thing. You can actually even share it to my profile, and you can always go downstairs to the Boogie with the Bull uncensored public group, and you can share it in there. I don't care that I share it to there, but I don't care. If more people share uh, broadcasts of mine and broadcasts that I'm on into the groups besides me, I don't care. It just shows people that people are watching. I hate that very much. And, on that note, make sure you have an awesome Thanksgiving holiday. Try not to talk politics and religion at the table so you don't fight. And if you do, and there are people that don't want to listen to a political or a religious discussion, wait until dinner is done, dessert has been served, and go find a corner wherever you are and talk politics and talk religion, or because people will be spread out around, I'm sure, talking about what they want to talk about, and at least walk around and be involved in all of the conversations that might be happening. You've been watching Boogie with Bull Uncensored Red Friday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We wish you a excellent Thanksgiving. We hope you find everything you're looking for on Black Friday, and maybe even get your holiday shopping done on Black Friday. Uh, That'll be a question that I'll be asking on different broadcasts. The name of the book, Craig, because I'm misreading the name of the book, Six Soft Targets, is the name of the book about 9/11. Six Soft Targets. And then the other two, the Conservative Patriot Broadcasters Bible, as I call them, are my mind is just a little keyed up on things. Go to the Bill Buckler Facebook page. And actually, I'm going to go to the Bill Buckler Facebook page because I feel embarrassed right now. I talk about the book so often that I actually can't even I can't even speak. I got a little wound up. 2020, a clear vision for our future. 2020, a clear vision for America. Those are the two books. If you go to the Bill Muckler Facebook page, the website is 2020americabook.com, 2020americabook.com, 2020americabook.com. You can type that into your browser and see if it's working. If it is back up and working, you can order the books there. If not, go to the Bill Muckler page. Like I said, you'll see the picture of Captain Muckler in his white uniform, along with the cover of Six Soft Targets as the cover picture. And if you go to the website and order the book. Matter of fact, I'll just see if I can check that right now. We'll do that. Let's see if I can get it here. 2020 AmericanBook.com. Enter. It's loading. It's loading. All right, Bill's website is loading. I'll try to stick this up to the camera, but that's what the website looks like. It is 2020americabook.com, and you can order Bill's books right there. 2020americabook.com, and order Bill's books. The 2020 A Clear Vision for America, 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future. That set is $25, includes shipping, and Six Soft Targets is $20, and it includes shipping as well. I would buy all three books because you're going to want to have all three books. As soon as I finish reading Six Soft Target book in great detail, and when we finish talking about the Six Soft Targets, we're going to go back and take up the 2020 books and start discussing them one chapter a week at Bill's choosing. Read it and be ready to come here and discuss it. I think you will learn a lot, and that's what we're going to do. Anyway, it's coming up on 11:15. I have to feed the dog. I have to feed the cat. I have to try to find something for me as well. And I thank you all for watching. We'll be back most likely in 2 weeks, unless we do something on Friday morning. But I'll let you know between now and then. We may do something on Friday. I'm not sure at this moment. We'll slide up and we'll hit that one. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast did in fact come to an end. Apologize for my head being